up-to-date method for the transportation of cargo. The Ignazio Messina shipping line is proud to present new technological methods in use on the highways of the sea. Find new ideas, to exploit all the many possibilities that present-day technology offers us. This is what we have learned after half a century's experience of working with the sea. When you really believe in the regular liner freight service, you must be in a constant phase of renewal, and this means that techniques, equipment, and services must be continually improved, and not only in sea transportation, in the booking service, the stowage planning, the preparation of all necessary documents. Only skilled personnel and very high standard companies can guarantee maximum speed and trouble-free transportation with absolutely no time loss. True, this is nothing special. The roll-on, roll-off service, for instance, is neither of our inventing, nor is it an exclusive service of ours. And of course, neither are the ro-ro ships, the containers, the port terminals, even though we were one of the first to believe in these and to introduce international roll-on, roll-off and container services from Italy. However, it is these services and handling equipment taken as a whole, these new techniques created during the long years of our activity in this sector, which has created something new and different. Something which the Messina line is proud to show you in the film you are about to see. Whilst the last of the cargo is arriving, the ship is berthing at the Messina terminal, stern first. About 20 meters of quay are all that are needed. Formerly, at least 120 to 130 meters were necessary. In ports with heavy traffic, which are chronically congested, this is quite an advantage, even for those companies which have their own terminals where several ro-ro vessels can operate simultaneously. Space is also vitally important, not only ashore, but especially on board the ships. In fact, when we compare the two equally specialized services of semi-trailers and containers, still with reference to roll-on, roll-off ships, we note that the semi-trailers are cumbersome to use in parking and in maneuvering and lead to loss of space, whilst the containers allow for a more rational and greater use of space, which is maximum even in an upward direction. This advantage can be seen not only ashore, particularly in congested ports, but also on board the ro-ro ships. This difference is much greater and much more evident, economically speaking, in deep-sea trades, both with regard to the more rationalized use of space, which is possible with a container service, and because of the higher daily cost of the semi-trailer. The roll-on, roll-off container service gives the shipper freedom from breakage inconveniences and total control over his cargo from start to finish. And when the through transportation system is not possible, for instance, if a shipper is unable to fill a whole container, only with specialized personnel and with perfect organization is it possible to carry out a really efficient groupage service such as takes place at our terminal. The container is promptly vanned by consolidating the consignment with other compatible cargo so as to eliminate any possible damage. For the shipping of large, heavy and awkward cargo, not containerable, special flats, even of really great capacity, are available. In this way, the company's seal becomes a real guarantee against all risks. For some types of cargo, such as these, neither containers nor groupage service are needed. Their wheels alone are enough. However, in this case too, several things are necessary: parking, grouping per types and destination, and above all, safety measures against pilferage or theft and other unpleasant eventualities. In loading and unloading operations, stacking cranes, straddle carriers, and 30-ton capacity forklift trucks are employed at the Messina terminal. Dimensions of this equipment are minimum, whereas flexibility and the functions they carry out are extreme. And all this handling equipment can operate simultaneously without hindering each other or creating stoppages. Idle time. This is a term which the Messina line is trying to render meaningless. Each truck is dealt with immediately, without neglecting the safety regulations. However, the cargo is handled in a proper way. In fact, the stowage is dealt with first by pre-planning at the head office and then at the terminal. The final operation of stowage on board the ship can thus take place easily and without errors, especially due to the availability of high-capacity adaptable equipment. As we mentioned, these include forklifts up to 30-ton lifting capacity, with the forks specially made for lifting containers and stacking 3 high. Stacking cranes also are of 30-ton capacity. A spreader frame automatically interlocks with the top corner castings of the container to lift it. A 25-ton capacity straddle carrier is also available to move and stock containers. All this equipment is independent and may therefore function at one and the same time. If idle time should occur, the equipment certainly is not at fault. But technology has allowed us to completely renew not just our terminals, but our ships too are now built according to the sophisticated Messina specifications. Here we see the Joker M, sister ship of the Roller M. With this type of vessel, the lower hold has been fully equipped for container transportation, utilizing a cellular system. The cells, which are found below the garage deck, are independent, with hydraulically sealed covers. The ship's special overall crane lifts the containers on board to be stowed in specially designed cells. These are unique cranes and work along the roof of the garage deck either sideways or lengthwise. The container, brought on board in a container-carrying ship's truck, is lifted up by the automatic spreader frame and stowed in the cell. Others can be stacked too high above the cells on the garage deck by means of the same system. The garage deck is, in fact, fitted with double twists for the lashing of the containers. If necessary, instead of solely containers, or together with other types of cargo, wheeled vehicles of all types and sizes, including even exceptionally large or unusually heavy and awkward items, may be loaded. The height and the resistance of the garage deck have in fact been purposely designed for every kind of cargo. Finally, by means of the ship's hoist, A further 100 cars and 15 trucks may be loaded on deck. The Jolly Arancione has a car deck which can accommodate 140 medium-sized cars, vans, or 8 to 10 small buses. Below this deck, there are hydraulically operated flying decks which can accommodate 70 trucks and 40 cars, or 25 semi-trailers 4 meters high, plus 120 cars. Again, by means of the ship's trucks, 101 containers can be loaded on deck too high by the ship's overall crane, or semi-trailers, trucks, and heavy, large, and awkward vehicles may be stored there. These handling methods are highly specialized and exceptionally flexible, and we are proud to have been among the first, if not the first ones, to introduce this changeover. The Jumbo M, which is now shown with the upper deck fully loaded with trucks bound for the Near East, can alternately carry 71 containers handled by the ship's overall crane, like the Jolly Arancione, and 15 trucks on the forepart of the weather deck. Moreover, she has 4 lower decks for a total of 410 running meters for medium-sized vehicles. The versatility of these ships is really exceptional, as we can readily observe here. Today, the Messina line has 11 ro-ro container ships, 9 owned and 2 chartered, all of which are designed for the shipping of containers, semi-trailers, and all types of wheeled vehicles. These ships are running on regular routes to North Africa, Near East, and the Red Sea. The company also owns 10 conventional vessels serving the following destinations: Malta, Libya, East Africa, South Africa, and the Red Sea. The most highly sophisticated of these vessels, for the time being, of course, have recently been introduced. These are the ro-ro container sister ships Jolly Blue and Jolly Marrone. These vessels are 930 meters long and have a 6-meter-high garage deck, particularly suitable for heavy, awkward cargoes. Up to 111 containers can be stowed together with 580 running meters of wheeled vehicles over 4 meters high. On the ceiling of the garage, there is a flying deck formed of 5 sections, each one independent. This unique installation means that the garage deck can be adapted to meet the needs of every shipping condition. When fully lowered, the flying deck can accommodate up to 110 medium-sized cars. At the same time, 80 containers, instead of the 111 previously mentioned, can be stowed when the flying deck is completely up. Besides these, the ship can also carry the 580 running meters of vehicles as mentioned before. The loading and stowage operations are carried out by the container carrying ship's truck, as well as by means of 30-ton capacity forklift trucks, which are also part of the ship's equipment. Space on board is fully utilized to the utmost advantage. In the lower hold, cargo is stowed by means of a large lift linked with the garage deck, which is located forward. Another big hoist, measuring 18 by 3.4 meters and having a 38-ton capacity, is found portside on the garage deck, which connects to the weather deck. And then the voyage begins, be it long or short, either in fair or adverse weather conditions. And at the end of our voyage, in one of the many ports served by the Messina line, in the Mediterranean, Near East, or Africa, each single operation is repeated in reverse order. The gangways are lowered, and out come the containers, the vehicles, the semi-trailers, and all the other wheeled vehicles on board. The flexible equipment on the ship goes into operation again. Lifts, overall cranes, forklifts, container carrying trucks, and ashore, the caterpillars, the side loaders, the 30-ton capacity handleys, forklift tractors and semi-trailers, all part of the ship's equipment, as well as the Messina line terminals in the ports of destination begin to work. To equip these other terminals, great investments of capital have been made by the Messina line. But this, we believe, is the only way to offer the most complete, specialized, and rapid service. In fact, it is our intention to equip our terminals at the ports of destination with even more modern equipment, to bring them up to the standard of the Italian terminals, so as to operate even more rapidly, thus achieving volume savings in harbor expenses. We do all this because we of the Messina line believe in sea transportation. In this rapidly escalating era of technology, we are deeply convinced that these so-called highways of the sea, although the oldest known to mankind, will always be the most efficient, economical, safe, and valid means of transportation.